Welcome back to A Family Food Supply. In these next 4 videos, we're going to be sharing with you what we eat during the month of November.
And specifically, we're going to be highlighting all of the recipes that are in our November recipe pack. I'm going to link this in the description below. You can get your hands on it. During the month of November, it is a pay for...
You gotta pay for it.
During the month of November, it is a pay what you want pricing structure, which means that
if you want it for $1, it's yours. This video specifically is going to include eggplant parmesan, cranberry baked oatmeal, some of that delicious beef stew, and an apple kuchen for dessert.
So we're gonna get started today, which actually is the day before we're filming our meals for the day, so that we can do some prep in advance to make tomorrow's meal prep easier.
Your belly's getting bigger. First up, Harbor's gonna be making some French bread to make garlic bread tomorrow. So we'll see you when Harbor's making the bread.
I can't wait for this one. The garlic bread, yeah, the thing I dream about.
Yeah.
It's delicious.
Just like my mom and dad said, I'm going to get started on some whole grain French bread. I'm going to get 2 cups of warm water. When I say warm, I actually mean kind of hot. There's my water. Now I'm going to add my water to my bowl. I'm going to add a tablespoon of honey. I'm putting it in here to melt it. I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of yeast. If you do the yeast first, then you don't have to clean the spoon. I haven't even mixed it in. I just ground some soft white wheat. Now I'm going to put 2.5 cups of it, half the flour, inside of my mixing bowl. Now this is leftover flour that we had in the freezer. I let it sit out for a little bit to warm it up. I've been using this for my sourdough bread that I've been making. I'm going to mix this for about 3 minutes. Back. Done. Now I'm going to let this sit for about 20 minutes or until it gets bubbly. Okie dokie. It's been
20 plus minutes.
yeah. And it is beautifully bubbly. Beautifully bubbly. A tablespoon of salt. 1 tablespoon of olive oil. And I'm going to add the rest of my flour. The remaining 2.5 cups of flour. I'm going to mix this while I grind up some more flour. This is going to knead for 10 minutes. Here's my dough. Nice, and it's nice and it pulled off the edges. I'm going to knead this by hand for just a minute to get it to the shape that I want it. I've just poured some oil into my bowl so that my dough does not stick to the bottom while rising. And I just like to reuse my bowl because it saves dishes and extra work.
Need a black pencil?
Now I'm going to let that rise until it's done. Wait, we put it on our heating mat up here. Oops, there's flour on the bottom of that. My dough is done rising. I already smashed it. I'm sorry. And now I'm going to roll it out into 2 logs. Okay, now I'm going to roll this up. That's how that's going to rise for about 30 minutes. Now for the first process of rising the loaves, you're going to moisten or mist the loaves. If you have a spray bottle, you can just spray them. But right now I'm going to use my hands. I'm going to get my hands wet and pat water along here. Alright, now those are going to rise for about 30 minutes. Now these are going to go in the oven, and I'm going to put a few ice cubes at the bottom of that. The ice cubes are to release steam to help get a nice crust. I'm going to check on my bread, and after 10 minutes I'm reducing the temperature to 375 and put a few more ice cubes in. Alright, the timer went up. These are done. I'm going to take them out and let them cool. They feel nice.
Okay, so I would like to take a second to introduce to you my mother. Her name is Sabrina, otherwise known as Mimi. And she is going to be making some homemade pasta sauce tonight. It's actually for the eggplant parmesan that we're doing tomorrow, but we're gonna start with the pasta sauce. Say hi, Mimi.
Hello.
Our goal here is to, number one, share recipes with you that are tried and true recipes that we've used for a long time, but also to kind of take a second look at them before we share them and see how we can tweak them and make them better. And the eggplant parmesan is a recipe that you've been making since I was a kid.
Yes.
And we did a practice round of it, and we switched here in the Comstock clan household, we switched to more organic, natural, healthier options for a lot of things, including the pasta sauce. And I did not make any pasta sauce or canned this year, so we just used the organic bottles of pasta sauce that we got from Costco. And
I wasn't that crazy about it.
this lady over here who likes her Prego, it just wouldn't do.
It was too thin.
And so we talked about it, and I said, okay, then we're gonna make our own. And came up with a recipe, tested this about a week ago, and oh my goodness.
It was delicious.
It's amazing. So she's gonna do a single batch, which is actually gonna work for 2 of the eggplant parmesans, which is 2 very large eggplant parmesans, so that we can freeze one. But this is also something that you could can. So I think in the future, when I can get my hands on some more diced tomatoes, we're gonna do like a mega
large
massive
yeah.
batch of it and do some canning. So I'm gonna include the canning recipe in the recipe pack here. And yeah, so I'm gonna leave you guys. I'm gonna go back to work, and Mimi's taking over dinner.
We'll get started. All right, step number 1, we're going to chop the onions. Then we're going to chop the pepper, then the garlic. While I'm chopping these, I would go over there and add some oil to my pot and get that preheated a little bit so that I can just start with sauteing these onions. The onions are chopped. Now I'm going to put the onions in and let them start sauteing while I chop up my green pepper. Okay, pepper's going in. These are going to need the sauteing for a while so they get translucent and the peppers wilt down. I don't add my garlic until after. These are almost ready because you don't want to burn the garlic. So next we're going to go chop the garlic. These are going to take a while.
All right, Mimi, where are we at? These done?
Yep, these are ready.
Rock and roll.
I am done chopping the garlic, and I'm going to now add it to the sauteed onions and peppers, which look beautiful. And let this cook just, I don't know, not even 5 minutes, just to make the garlic fragrant. Alrighty, I am getting ready to add 4 jars of diced tomatoes. Next, we're going to add 2 cans of tomato sauce, 2 cans of tomato paste. Now, we're going to add our seasonings, which consist of brown sugar. This is a combination of Italian seasoning and garlic salt. This is Worcestershire sauce, regular salt. We're going to mix it all up. I know it looks like a lot of seasoning, but it's not. It'll be delicious. I have one more final ingredient to add to this, and that is the balsamic vinegar. And we do have a favorite brand in this family. It's this one right here. What is this?
Napa Valley.
Ah, okay. Napa Valley.
Gluggity glug.
I like to eyeball it. It's approximately 1 tablespoon or more. I love balsamic. And it adds such a good flavor. Stir it up, reduce your heat, and then it will need to cook for approximately 2 to 4 hours. You can be the judge. It will be done after 2 hours, but we like to cook it for at least 4.
All right, now it's time to bottle the pasta sauce. It smells amazing. But before we bottle it, we're actually gonna throw it through the blender because that's how we do it. Here it goes. All right, there it is. Now we're gonna put it into there.
With a funnel?
Yes. I just do it just to get it right on there.
So if your sauce is too thick, you can add chicken broth to it. And if you like your sauce a little bit more chunky, like that, you can use an immersion blender and be a little bit more selective with how much blending you do, or just leave it totally chunky. If you're making the sauce to substitute a canned pasta sauce recipe, oftentimes the canned pasta sauce comes in 24-ounce bottles. And so we normally use 2 canned pasta sauces, which is actually 1.5 quarts or 3/4 of a half gallon. And so since we're doing 2 batches of the eggplant parmesan, 1 to eat, 1 to freeze, we are trying to get that 3/4 of a half gallon, and I think we're about good.
There's the finished product.
All right, we're gonna take a little break here for a second to just talk a little bit more about what exactly we eat so that you can know what to expect in the meals that we provide. So as you might have noticed, we do a lot of cooking from scratch.
And we're feeding a family of 11. That includes us, our 7 kids, Christy's parents who live with us, and the baby on the way.
So as a general rule, we do our best to eat nourishing, healthy meals that include freshly ground grains. So we do our best to not ever use AP flour. We buy local pasture-raised meats. We have a raw milk share where we get our milk from, and also purchase raw milk products from Azure. We buy as often as we can organic produce, and we do our best to limit the sugar.
Yeah, but this time of year, it kind of gets a little out of hand, if I'm being honest, because somebody likes the Christmas cookies. Plus, we got a lot of birthdays, Thanksgiving, there's pies, and so we take a break from worrying so much about the sugar. It's not all year, it's okay.
We also believe in the value of keeping a food supply. So much of our cooking does revolve around using that bulk food storage that we have.
And if some of this large cooking and meal prepping stuff resonates with you, you're probably in the right place. But I do want to warn you, you've probably experienced or seen some of the chaos that comes around because our kids are here. And we like involving them because, well, it's compounding.
Okay, so when you're done watching this video, if you want to learn more about what we eat, we're sharing all kinds of different recipes, and I'm going to link a playlist to all of those videos in the description box below. All right, next on the docket, we are going to take care of our breakfast for tomorrow today. And if you get your hands on the November recipe pack, you will notice in here these little badges on the top. And right here, this one notifies you that this makes a good freezer meal. Whenever I see this, I do my best to see if we can fit in an extra meal, throw it in the freezer so that we've got something ready to go for the future. Another one you can see on here is it says meal to take. This is also a great dish to add on if you're taking someone dinner. You can also throw on an extra breakfast. So we've got ideas for that in here as well. All right, so we're going to get started making this cranberry baked oatmeal. Breslin! Yay!
Were you gonna let her do that?
Okay, so Breslin got us started by putting 8 eggs in the bowl. We're gonna also put 8 eggs in this bowl. Do you wanna finish cracking those?
Can I first Dopey?
I think that would be a good idea, yes. So we've got our eggs in here mixed up, and I'm gonna add 8 cups of oats. Breslin's gonna add 8 eggs over here. And I'm gonna count so I don't lose track. 8.
We're gonna need another bag of thing.
Do you think I can put the oats in there? You want to stir it up first? Stir it up first.
It would be quick.
It'll be quick. Good job, Breslin. Next, we have 4 cups of milk in each of these. Since a half gallon is 8 cups, I was going to measure it, but I'm thinking I'm going to save this and not get it dirty. I'm just going to pour half of this in here and half of it over here.
Aww.
1/2 cup maple syrup.
Oh, you don't measure maple syrup like you do vanilla. That's no fun.
I got what?
There.
Yeah,
That still wasn't
you did that begrudgingly. You were like,
Extra sugar.
I'll take it.
All right, now we've got 4 teaspoons of baking powder, 2 teaspoons of salt,
2.
and then 3 tablespoons of the pumpkin pie spice. I'm not gonna make this right now. We did do a video a little while back where we made this. I'll link that in the description below. I'll also make sure that the recipe is included in the November recipe pack. No, sweet. 3 tablespoons of vanilla. You don't want that. Alright, so each one of these is going to get 1 cup of pecans. Look at how beautiful this is, all stirred up. And then this one's gotten no attention. It's all just sitting here as it was dumped in the bowl. So I'm going to take these and dump about 1 cup in there. And these immersion blenders are pretty sweet. Definitely. Alright, so then we're going to do 4 cups of fresh cranberries. 1, 4. And then I have a special surprise. This is going to be the one that goes in the freezer. And we're going to hold on to these cranberries because we still have a lot of cranberry dishes. And instead of doing the 4 cups of fresh cranberries, we're going to do 3 cups of dried cranberries.
Good use of eat tomorrow, eat whenever. I like it.
And now we packaged up those dried cranberries the other day. We're gonna go grab a bag of those out of the freezer and dump them in. If you haven't seen our how we stored it video, we go through and show how we put away our entire grocery haul, where things go, how things get packaged or processed or frozen or set on the shelf. Okay, so mental note, when you do freeze your dried fruit and you think you're gonna put it in a container, it's kind of solid.
It'll break up.
You think so?
Oh yeah, totally.
Let's see. Let's get some scissors.
Give me scissors. What's that?
Good job, babe. You want a funnel? So you can beat them to death, or you can let them sit out on the counter for a couple hours.
Well, you let these sit out on the counter for a couple hours.
I'm concerned that you're gonna have chunks in there and now you're not gonna let it fit on.
Equally shared concern.
And our highly convenient
Just let me just
storage method turns into a...
Just hold your horses for a second, alright? This cowboy ain't hanging up his hat quite yet. Y'all didn't know I was a cowboy, did you?
Good job, babe.
Alright, what's next?
Alright, everyone left us.
Sweets, we're on a date?
We're on a date.
Nope. I rescind that idea.
All right, so lastly we've got 4-ish apples. I think this is probably more like 6 because they were tiny. So we're gonna just dump these in here and then we're gonna stir this up. So then we're gonna dump this into a greased baking dish, aka roasting pan. If you want an extra large roasting pan, Russet has this one. It is a 7-quart.
Oh, it's dirty.
So now we dump.
Really?
Look.
Well, this is what happens when you leave. I was gonna ask you to go get salt. ×2.
I don't want to use this anymore.
Yes, use that. We're going to dump this into 2 separate disposable roasting pans because the big ones are just not fun to deal with. And I am not going to label and finalize these to go in the freezer because we're actually going to cook them tomorrow. We want the oats to soak overnight. We always try and do our oats the night before so they sit and they soak and they become more digestible. And then we'll bake them tomorrow, let it cool, and then go in the freezer. Oh no. I should have gone with my spoon. I have to go on a rescue mission to save. There's still a cranberry in there. I had a oops.
These. Mom. What's mom?
Yeah. Daddy a stinker. Hey.
All right, Shira.
Okay, last recipe for the night. We're gonna make some garlic salt real quick, and then we're gonna go make our meal baskets for tomorrow. So we're gonna make about a pint of garlic salt. I'm gonna start with 18 tablespoons of salt. We save these. We do not seal the salt because salt would turn into a brick. So we save these and reuse them.
Dad.
Like that, brick. But sometimes that just happens. All right, so then we're gonna do 6 tablespoons of parsley. I don't think I have enough room. I know.
How many of those?
6. It's gonna fit.
4.
The recipe technically calls for garlic powder. You can also substitute that with garlic granules or minced dried garlic. I'm gonna dump it. Okay, so it's gonna fit. No. Breslin, do you want to shake it?
Sure.
Okay. Ta-da!
Garlic salt. And
Label.
look, we have these clean-sided ball mason jars that you can write all over. Harbor's over here making a batch of my pregnancy tea. We mix up all the herbs in a half-gallon mason jar. I think I'll throw in my pregnancy tea herb mix. So we add boiling water to this and let it sit overnight and then strain it, and I drink about that much. I drink at least a quart a day. I'm on my 2nd quart for today, so.
Breslin's got PJs on, the boys have all gone to bed, Harbor's out gallivanting, and Amy's still awake. Look at that.
Hi guys.
So, we're doing meal baskets. Let's do it.
Okay, so we use these baskets as meal baskets to prep the ingredients that we need to make a meal. It makes the actual putting together of a meal next day, later that week, so much easier. Today we're just gonna focus on tomorrow. We're gonna start with the beef stew. Okay, so for the beef stew, we're gonna do tomato paste, balsamic vinegar. We're gonna do 6 onions. 5, 6. That's awesome. We're gonna do 2 bags of potatoes, which we're just gonna grab
In the morning?
because we're also, we've actually got a 50-pound bag sitting in the dining room because we're also gonna do pressure canning potatoes. We don't need all these carrots, but I'm gonna just throw them in here. Bay leaves, thyme, basil, and parsley. I am going to hold off on. We've got those easily accessible. Not necessarily. Do you want to bring them out and just put them on the counter?
No, just give me away.
Okay, so that's it for the 2 batches of beef stew tomorrow. We're not gonna freeze it. We're gonna actually pressure can the second batch. Okay, then we have the eggplant parmesan. We have, Mimi said these were fat eggplant, and man, oh man,
It is.
those are some fat eggplant. We have the eggplants,
Those are gonna take.
and we have plenty of eggs right there in the refrigerator. We're gonna do the breadcrumbs,
Harbor's breadcrumbs.
homemade breadcrumbs.
Know it.
The garlic salt, can we just, are you pulling them out? We've got the butter. We have mozzarella cheese. We have the pasta sauce that we just threw in the fridge. And then last but not least, we have the Parmesan. Okay, so there's our eggplant Parmesan basket. And then we're making apple Kuchen. So we need the butter, the sour cream. Do we have any brown sugar that's made?
How much do you need? If you want a recipe pack, the link for that is in the description. It's sweet.
3 tablespoons.
Got it. It's up there.
It's up where?
There's brown sugar up there.
Perfect. I'm not gonna grab the sugar, but we're gonna do the 3 apples and the 3 eggs. Apples, eggs, sugar, nutmeg, and ginger. Harper, will you grab the nutmeg and ginger? I think that'll be
The what?
the nutmeg and the ginger. And that's it. So we're gonna go throw these in the refrigerator and it'll be ready to go for when we're cooking tomorrow.
All right. I'm exhausted, but super grateful that we got all this together. Thanks for joining us. In each of the 4 videos that we're going to be doing with what we eat, we're going to be giving away one of these fancy recipe packs. So, Christy's going to share with you how you can get your hands on one.
Let us know in the comments below how often you eat out. If it's on a weekly, how many times a month, whatever it is, share with us how often you eat out, and what your favorite place is to go. That will get you entered to win the recipe pack for this video. We'll be announcing all of the winners when we do the live giveaway at the end of the month. And I think that's it for now.
Yep, we will see you bright and early in the morning.
All right, it's Wednesday morning and we woke up.
Obviously.
Amen. We spent some time with God, and Kevin made us tea, as he does every morning. Thanks, babe.
You're welcome. We're not coffee drinkers. One of the things we do first thing in the morning is we prioritize our marriage by doing what we call a daily check-in. Basically just gets us on the same page, talk about what's going on in our life and the kids and the schedule and all that stuff. And that's what helps keep this
Running.
moving.
Yeah.
And now it's time to get moving.
We're going to eat breakfast. We're gonna prep lunch. We're gonna double that batch of beef stew so that we can can some of it this afternoon. We're gonna can some potatoes, and I'm gonna make an apple Kuchen.
I'm excited for that. And it's not even Thanksgiving, which is awesome.
All right, so
Let's get after it. All right, baked oatmeal's done. Grayson's gonna grab that thing out of the oven. So we're gonna let this rest for a little bit. It's bubbling. All right, now that the baked oatmeal is out of the oven, we're gonna take the freezer meal ones and pop these guys in. Skadoosh.
Oh, those are good.
We'll let that bake for about an hour.
Just need to start naming all of the timers.
Serving time. This is set and rested for about 10-15 minutes. And time to dish.
really,
Really?
God.
Why, yes.
God. Thank you for this water food. Then you put the house in the clock.
After you're done, I can make my own. But it took this part.
Well, I just wanted to see the screen.
This morning, the balance
What?
of power.
Oh, that's what I'm smelling.
Mama, ready?
Swollen.
Mom, look what I found.
What did you find? Oh yeah.
All right, now that the baked oatmeal is done, we're gonna make Dad's breakfast. Plus, it's oatmeal and smoothies. This is the powerhouse. I don't know what else to call it. It's got a lot in there. So we're gonna do egg, milk, banana, peanut butter, a little bit of whey, some collagen, and vanilla. All right, I usually just eyeball what goes in here. No real measuring. That looks like it's about a cup of milk. And then throw the peanut butter in there. I have 2 jars of peanut butter because this one someone did not kill, and I don't know if it was enough. So it's about 2 to 3 tablespoons of peanut butter. I think that's enough. Next up, egg. Whole egg in. I do 2 to however many I feel like on that day. 2 to 16 eggs. We're gonna go 3 today. If you're asking, Kevin, do you really put raw eggs in your smoothies? Yes, every day. I've been drinking raw eggs for about 6 to 8 years or so. Never had a problem. Sometimes the smoothies are like, whoa, but I've never gotten sick from eating raw eggs. Scoop of whey. That just provides additional sources of amino acids and other stuff. Scoop of collagen, because that's just another element of goodness. A splash of vanilla. Okay, about a cup of ice. Mix everything together real well. Sometimes I will throw in vanilla ice cream if nobody's looking. Not often. Then we click play. Let that mix for about a minute or so. Alright, it's been mixing for about a minute and it's looking darn near perfect. Ah, yes. So I didn't mention how much banana I put in there. It's about a banana. And I break those up, freeze them. It makes it super convenient. I just grab them. This thing was full, and now the moment of truth. It's beautiful. If you don't like banana, you're not gonna like it. If you don't like peanut butter, you're not gonna like it. I used to calculate how many calories and everything that's in this thing. I'm going for something that's gonna last me a while. So lots of fat, lots of proteins. It's amazing.
All right, so we are finishing up breakfast chores, and we've got, Kevin has our meat cut for the beef stew. You weigh the roast? I'm gonna weigh that and see how close to 6 pounds we are. We've got everything else. Got our tomato paste, balsamic vinegar, the flour. I'm hoping there's some ground in the freezer. Salt, pepper, onions, potatoes, carrots. Got bay leaves, thyme, basil. No, we don't have thyme. We're out of thyme. We're getting thyme tomorrow. This beef stew is not gonna have thyme in it. Basil, parsley, and water. Okay, so right now the big debate is, since we're doing a double batch, do we do it all in one pot, or do we do it in 2 separate pots? What do you think? 2 separate pots? How are we gonna bake it then? Because it's gotta bake for 2 to 2.5 hours. Throw the second one in when we start eating lunch, like when it comes out? Yeah? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, we're gonna do 2 separate pots. We're gonna use the gray pot for starters because I know that it'll all fit in there. And then we're gonna figure out if we can do the second one in the yellow pot, which I think is gonna probably be too small. Or maybe we'll get it started in the stock pot and then dump it into that. I don't know. We'll figure it out. All right, let's get that big pot.
Ding.
Yep. All right, there's 3 pounds. I'm concerned.
So I think you should do like 210. Let's put the rest back.
No, I did not.
Aw.
Okay, so 2 pounds, 8 ounces. So we are 8 ounces short. So I'm gonna add 4 ounces. We're gonna go put 2 pounds, 12 ounces.
Yeah,
Okay.
212.
Sorry. What? I'm sorry.
Well, I wasn't looking. She dumped the meat in.
I did.
I think they should build a whole.
Alright, so we're gonna add 1/3 cup of tomato paste. Alright, Lyndon, do you want to stir that up?
Uh-huh.
Here, I'm gonna scrape it. I mean, it's beautiful. Alright, we're gonna do 3 tablespoons of balsamic vinegar. So now I have a proposal. I think that I should pour the 3 tablespoons of vinegar into here so that it's ready to go. I've got the tomato paste sitting there.
Yep, do it.
Agree?
Yep.
Vinegar is done. Alright, we're gonna do the flour, salt, and pepper. Got a tablespoon of salt. We've got 2 tablespoons of flour. Actually, since we're doing this separate, since we're gonna can that batch, I'm gonna be all official and would be not add the flour. And pepper. Alright, then we need onions, potatoes, carrots, garlic, and the rest of our seasoning.
Alright, it's prep time.
We've got Lyndon on potatoes. We've got Dad on
Onions and carrots.
onions and carrots.
Vegetables.
Garlic.
Mom will do garlic.
You want me to do garlic?
Mom wants to do the carrots. 4 cups of carrots going in the pot. So rather than peeling our carrots, we have a veggie scrub mitt and we have a veggie scrub cloth that come from Norwex, and we just use them to scrub the carrots underwater, and it keeps the peel on but gets the bad stuff off so that you get all the nutrients of the peel.
Garlic going in.
Oh, I do.
Is that full length?
Is it what?
Onions cut. 3 cups per pot.
6 cups of potatoes are going in. So we have our garlic, we have our carrots, we have our onions, we have our collection of veggies over here for the second batch. And I'm gonna turn this back on. I turned it off because we did not prep our food in advance like we're supposed to. Onions, potatoes, carrots, garlic, bay leaves, thyme, parsley, and basil. And 8 cups of water. So I'm gonna do the 8 cups of water now. 8 cups of water. 2 bay leaves, 1 tablespoon of each. 2 bay leaves. So I'm gonna put them in that batch and in that batch. Okay, so tablespoon of parsley. I'm gonna actually do a tablespoon and a half since we don't have any time.
Sure. Plus, it's a good substitute for time.
Well, I'm gonna do a tablespoon and a half of each of these.
Oh.
Tablespoon of basil and a half. If you're out of an ingredient, just
Make it up.
go with it. Or keep a good food supply that doesn't run out of stuff. But as I've mentioned, our spice and herb system needs some major help.
Yeah. 6 cups potatoes for the next one. We're running out of room in the bowl, so I'm just gonna set that next to it.
Alright, so our stew is boiling. So we're gonna put the top on. And Kevin is going to put this in the oven.
Oh, we lift big heavy pot. Yeah, I know.
Somewhat clean this time.
It's been somewhat clean.
But it was dirty during all the other videos that we did last month.
Somewhat clean, she says.
Okay, so we had that debate on how we were going to go through and cook all the beef stew. Number one, I think it would have fit. It would have been a very full pot. It might have like broke the oven tray, but I think it would have fit in that pot. But I was thinking about it, I'm like, hello, we're pressure canning this. I don't need to put it in the oven. So we're gonna get this started right now. And the best news is that I do believe this should be about 4 quarts of, no, 7. I do believe this should be about 7 quarts of beef stew, and our plan was to just do 7 quarts of potatoes. Our pressure canner happens to hold 14 quarts, so we're gonna just do those double stacked and get it all done. So I have all of this prepped and ready to go. This is something, if you are making the beef stew, you could prep all of this the night before. And it could be this easy. If you're planning ahead, this is something that you can definitely do. On these oil jars, I always just grab it. Oh. And try and pop the bottom. And I rub it into my hands because avocado oil and olive oil are so good for your skin. All right, so we've got everything that we need for this first batch, minus the tomato paste that I'm gonna grab as well. I'm gonna dump this in carefully. Lyndon, I love you.
You're not doing
I'm
flour.
not doing flour. Gonna follow the rules. So we're gonna just let this cook down until all the meat is brown, which is gonna happen fairly quickly. And then we'll add our veggies, the rest of the seasonings, and our water. And we'll just let it cook on the stovetop until we're ready to do the pressure canning.
And for Mom, I'm ready. Wait, let's see if I can do a D for Dad.
Hey, babe.
D.
Good enough.
D.
D.
The meat is browned. So I'm going to add our veggies. I think I dropped a, we're not gonna fit this in here.
It was a valiant try.
Oh, bummer.
You know what? I don't
You think I
know.
can fit those potatoes in 8 cups of water? Like, I can do the water. I just don't think the potatoes have a chance. And I am getting extra creative here, and I'm gonna throw my potatoes in an extra pot that hopefully they're gonna fit into. Without.
This is the other side of the kitchen, in case you were curious.
So, Lyndon really wanted to use the apple peeler to peel the potatoes. And I don't know if I'm sold.
I'm not.
I don't like the,
Wonky looking potatoes.
yeah, but I told him that he could, and we'd experiment. But these potatoes are gonna get pressure canned. I've never pressure canned potatoes before. I don't know if I'm going to like them for anything other than mashed potatoes. I'm guessing probably not. I guess they can go into like a beef stew, but
How else do you use potatoes?
like soup, stew, mashed potatoes.
Hot roast.
But so here's the deal. I mentioned that we were going to double stack and we're going to do the beef stew along with the potatoes. And the problem with that is that the potatoes pressure can for 40 minutes and the stew pressure cans for 90 minutes. I am going to say I'm willing to overcook the potatoes and that we're going to use them for mashed potatoes and they're going to be okay. Is that?
Totally acceptable. You're going rogue. I like it.
So here's the deal. I'm gonna do this and it's gonna be a shortcut, but I reserve the right to say it's gross, it didn't work, and I need to try it again. I'm committing that if it's gross and it doesn't work and it ruins the potatoes, that we're going to try it again and not just say, oh yeah, pressure can potatoes are awful. Okay, so Lyndon's been peeling the potatoes. I'm cutting the potatoes and I'm throwing them in a pot of water so they don't get all gross. And then we're gonna boil these for about 10 minutes before putting them in jars. We're just gonna can up the beef stew and the potatoes. So somebody better get some jars ready. Harbor,
Yes.
will you wash those cans? So we're gonna start by pressure canning or jarring the beef stew. But since I separated the potatoes and everything else, I am going to just kind of try and figure out how to disperse this evenly, although I don't really know what evenly is. So this is going to be interesting. I'm gonna guess 7 to 8 jars. Do you agree?
I have no idea. But yeah, probably something like that.
Well, and I'm also gonna say that if I need more potatoes, I can steal from those. And then, oh, sorry. But like, next comes the stew.
It's good there for a minute. After it's
All right, so I am pleased to say that our veggies and beef and the stew filled 7 quarts, which is perfect. And that with that, we had to add a little bit of water. So if you're making the stew to can it and you run out of liquid, just add water and it'll be good to go. So I am removing any air bubbles and just kind of trying to even out my jars. I think they're all good. So now I'm going to do a vinegar wash and then throw my lids on. My guess is that we could do 4 quarts with your dad and 3 quarts without him.
a full quart.
But let's see. Well, let's see what's left over here because it's the same amount. Superb
And ForJars.
and ForJars. Sweet.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I think I've noticed with the Superb lids is that your chances of the seal are a little bit greater if you tighten the lid a little bit tighter than what I will normally tighten my lids. The only reason why it looks like I'm like really cranking on it is because it's spinning. These, if you go too tight on jars like the ForJars or the ball, they will buckle. But with the Superb, I think they're so stout that they don't.
Okay, Shira. We are live on the GoPro because somebody hijacked the other camera. Potatoes are done. We're now adding water.
I think I'm gonna be out of water, so I am.
So we're gonna add water. We're gonna wipe these off, lid them, put them back in the pressure canner.
The ends, yes.
Okay, I'm going to make soft white wheat dinner rolls. And to start with that, I'm going to do 1.5 cups of hot water. Gonna add that to my bowl. Along with a 1/3 cup of olive oil. 1/3 cup of honey. 1/3 cup of honey. 1 egg. 1 teaspoon of salt. Gonna mix that till it is combined. I'm probably gonna use a whisk. Now I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of vital wheat gluten. 2 tablespoons of sunflower lecithin. I'm gonna add half of my flour that I need.
Which is how much?
2.5 cups. Probably gonna just do 2 cups. After this is mixed, I'm gonna add 1 tablespoon of yeast and the rest of my flour. Now that we're done mixing, I'm gonna pull this out and knead it for a little bit. And then put it back in here. I'm gonna let it rise for about an hour. First thing is the best part, punching it down. Now, generally, you are supposed to let them rise before you cook, or you cook them, bake them, but I don't have time to let them rise before I bake them, and that's okay.
So just use it as is, because you're probably gonna drop it and crack it anyway.
Shape it just a little bit, and then to get the nice ball shape.
The beef stew's been cooking for about 2 hours. Let's take a look at it. It looks like a pot. That's a warm oven. Ash, please move.
That's the lid. That one.
Yep. Beef stew.
Now that these have rested a little bit, I'm gonna put them in the oven. Done? The rolls are done. Turn the oven off, and I'm gonna take them out.
Yes, you can have my cherries when I'm done.
Mom, can I have some cherries?
Marcy, you have more cherries than everyone.
No, I don't. I only have 6.
That's more than everybody.
Yeah. Mom, can I? I have 1! Shh.
President wants to pray.
No. God, thank you for this one food. And there's ours for saving. Thank you for the touch and the feathers and the brush. Amen.
Amen. Mom.
Look at that what?
I love this. Cool.
Rain. It's taller than me.
Stop, Grayson.
To make it perfect. When you dip your roll in the leftover
What about you?
juice broth stew, so good.
Dad, watch. I'll do it.
You took the bigger one. You gave me the smaller one. They're all the same size. Yeah. I can prove it. London.
Okay, who loves it?
Me.
Hands up. That is a successful meal.
Dad, what
Oh
about
my
you?
goodness. I love it.
Dad's supposed to raise his hand and then it was unsuccessful.
Do you want this?
Oh look, he raised his hand.
All right, lunch was amazing. We wanted to take a minute to let our food settle because that was good, and talk about the November recipe pack, which is right here. Something that I've noticed in other menus or recipes is all the clutter and junk. This is just straight to the point, easy to understand, easy to follow, and the meals are amazing. Oh my goodness. I know I'm kind of biased, but, and there's a good variety. It's not just, one type of food.
You mentioned that it's very simple, but the things that we do choose to add on and highlight are things like highlighting which items can be made into freezer meals, or can be taken as like a meal to take, or that can be used as potluck, or that can be used as homemade gifts even. It's really helpful for me to kind of have that down on paper and accessible, as opposed to having to think about that kind of stuff. Because when you have to think about it and be extra intentional, like when you say, oh, we're gonna take somebody a meal, it's like, what are we gonna make? And I'm excited to have these recipe packs on hand because I can grab the 3 books for the season that we're in and flip through it and pick a freezer meal really quick and easy. So the one thing that I do want to mention is that the recipe packs are available during the month that they're produced. And for the October one, I'm going to let that go a little bit longer because it came out so late, and then probably this one as well. But there will be a certain date that they're no longer available as a pay what you want item. But for now, during the month that they come out, our current plan is to make them available on a pay what you want basis. And if that means that you really want it, but you can't afford to pay anything, that's okay. You can go on. The system will make you still put in a credit card in order to actually obtain, like to check out. I cannot fix that, unfortunately. I wish that I could. But
You can still put 0 in.
you can still put $0 in. I promise you will not be charged. We don't keep your credit card information. And then some people choose to pay the suggested price. The suggested retail price on them is $9.95. after we're out of the month, they're gonna go up to $14.95. And the reason why we're gonna do that is because if someone comes across our channel and they decide that they want to get a recipe pack and then they decide, oh, well, I want to get more of them, we actually don't necessarily encourage that. We don't want to create overload or overwhelm. And if you were to download, I mean, they're like 60, 70, 80 pages each. And so getting more than, like, if you grab 3 or 4 or 5 of them at a time, my guess is that you're not going to do anything with them. And so it's more of a encouragement to get one at a time and to go through them and actually use them, as opposed to collecting them for the sake of having them and then not touching them. We want to help you move forward and inspire you to do what we share, as opposed to just think about it and then it never happens.
Yeah. I want to take a minute and say thank you to those who've purchased the recipe pack and have paid the suggested price. And we're, like we said, we have an idea of what we think it should cost, but also want to have that freedom and flexibility for you to do that. It's just awesome. So thank you. And
for those of you who have gone above and beyond and paid above that suggested price, thank you.
Saying thank you really isn't enough to describe how grateful we are for your blessing our family with some resources to continue to do what we're doing as a family and offer value to you and the world with what culture we have here in our home and the food we make. What's up? Got her to hold my hand.
So we try and take a walk every day, but since I got pregnant, for the first few weeks I still did.
Yeah?
And then walk time became nap time. And so it's been something that's been harder and harder to fit in. And I'm so thankful because it is so beautiful here.
It's gorgeous.
Today,
Yeah,
I'm gonna flip.
Okay, so we're gonna get back to the house. We're gonna bang out the apple Kuchen. We're gonna check on the Mimi.
We left Mimi and Harbor and Grayson.
Yeah, so Harbor's giving instructions, Mimi's cooking, Grayson's filming. We'll see how that disaster turns out. So if it becomes,
I told Kevin he had to start filming the eggplant parmesan as if nothing had been done yet.
but if we end up ordering pizza, that's why. We'll see you back in the kitchen in a few minutes. And enjoy the shorts weather. It's crazy out here.
Hello, today we are going to be making our eggplant parmesan. The other day we put together our sauce, which is right here. And we have our eggplant, we have our breadcrumbs, our eggs, and our flour. And then these are the seasonings we'll be using, along with Parmesan cheese, mozzarella cheese, and lots of yummy butter to cook the eggplant in. To start off with, we are going to cut and peel our eggplant. When you have big eggplants like this, you can cut them. I usually like to cut them around 1/2 inch. I think this is about 1/2 inch. And if, like this one is really large, after you're done cooking it, if you need to move it around and have it fit into your pan, you can cut it. Cut it in half, cut it in quarters, however you want. Just so that you have a nice flat layer. And Harbor is peeling. We just cut into this eggplant and it is pretty brown inside, and some of these pieces are a little mushy. According to what I just looked up, you don't want to use it. So we're going to pitch this one and start over with a new one. Our eggplant is now cut and we're going to start the process. I have flour. This is the soft white wheat, fresh ground sifted flour. I have 4 eggs, breadcrumbs. We're going to start with 1 cup of breadcrumbs. We are going to do all of the eggs. Garlic salt, approximately 1 tablespoon of garlic salt to this cup. And then a little bit of, this is Italian seasoning, and a little bit of salt. And you know what, for good measure, I'm going to add a little bit of pepper. We're now going to grate our Parmesan cheese that we will be layering in the casserole dish. It's going to be a layer of the sauce, then a layer of the cheese, then a layer of the cooked eggplant. When your pan is nice and hot, take your butter and spread it evenly on the pan. And I know it uses a lot of butter. Then we're going to take our eggplant and we're going to coat it with flour. Then in the egg. And then in the breadcrumbs.
A little more eggplant.
And then you just put it on the pan. And we let this cook until it's soft. Thank you. How much is that going on? We're now going to put a layer of sauce on the bottom of this pan. And this is this yummy, yummy, yummy sauce that we made yesterday. And the eggplant doesn't stick. Yep.
Yeah, we want it open.
Alright, now we're just adding a layer of the mozzarella cheese. This is how I like to do it. They're almost done. You want them to be, you want them to be soft. Like this one right here is ready. It's nice and soft, and we're just going to layer it in here. And I'm going to do that with the rest of the eggplant when it gets finished. This is the first layer done, and now we're going to add more Parmesan cheese.
That's mozzarella.
Sorry, mozzarella cheese. The next layer we're going down is more sauce. And now we are ready to start our second layer of fried eggplant. Okay, our last layer, which is our second layer, is in the pan, and I'm going to give it a generous coating of mozzarella cheese. I like to do a generous layer of the cheese.
Even the egg.
And then we are going to coat it with more sauce. Okay, and the last thing I'm going to do after I wash my hands is put on, grate some of the Parmesan cheese that I've been talking about every time I go to say mozzarella. And seriously, I took like a piece like this, and I'm probably going to use the whole thing. This one is ready
To go in the oven?
to go in the oven. Sorry. Or get put into the refrigerator until you are ready to put it in the oven. I like to cook it at 375 for approximately an hour. You probably need to check it at about 45 minutes to see how it's doing. I like it nice and bubbly around the edges, and you're good to go.
So when we're freezing a freezer meal, I cover it with the plastic wrap first. If it's something that's a little bit more sensitive than the baked oatmeal, I'll even take the plastic wrap and kind of go up, down onto the food on top. So one of the add-ons that I have inside of this month's recipe pack is freezer labels for any of the suggested freezer meals. I'm also going to have the canning labels for any of the suggested canning items. So this makes it super easy to label.
With peanut butter?
Me?
We're gonna take some of our leftover bread and turn that into homemade croutons.
We just photobombed.
Alright, we're gonna add 2 tablespoons of olive oil. Or 1 teaspoon of oregano, 1 teaspoon of salt, and 1 teaspoon of parsley, and a half a teaspoon of pepper. Now I'm going to mix this up. I'm going to put this on a baking sheet and bake it for about 10 minutes or until they're crispy. Alright, I'm going to spread these out on here. I'm going to bake these at 350.
Universal baking temperature for everything.
350?
I'm just going to put it in. It's warm.
Hello?
About 10 minutes, but you're going to check it every few minutes to stir, to toss them.
Let's check on the croutons that have been baking for about how long? 15 minutes?
Yeah.
Maybe?
Do you want it like this or do you want it?
Oh, yes. They're looking crewy.
Creamy?
I don't know. Crouton?
That's good.
These are going to sit till they're cool, and then we're going to pick each of them out so you don't get the extra burnt crumbs right there, and put it in a jar and top it with our salads when we're ready to use it.
Okay, now it is time to make the apple kuchen. I was gonna make this earlier today, but the beef stew and the potatoes, it all ended up working out. We just flip-flopped some time. And so I've got everything out here except for the flour, which is getting ground right now. Generally, this recipe calls for an AP flour, so I am using just a freshly ground soft white wheat. For the crust, we're gonna do flour, butter, sour cream, brown sugar, ginger, nutmeg, and salt. And then the filling is sugar, sour cream, egg yolks, flour, vanilla, and the apples. So, we're gonna make the crust in the food processor. Then we're gonna press it into a springform pan, which is drying. Does not get used a ton, but this goes, if you don't have a springform pan, it is easiest to put together on the counter, and if you pull it together, so here, this will just pick it up. If you try and put it together up here, it can be a little difficult. If you're really careful, you can get it. All right, so for the crust, it's really easy. You just dump it all into the food processor. I need a half a cup of butter. I'm just gonna take half of one of these big sticks. I'm not gonna just dump this in. I'm gonna at least cut it into a few chunks. Yes, but no. Butter is in the food processor. Now we're gonna grab 3 tablespoons of sour cream. All right, now we need 3 tablespoons of brown sugar. 3 tablespoons of brown sugar. Please. Wait, no, I'm not.
No.
3 tablespoons. I'm going to only do 1 because I reserved 2 tablespoons. And then a half teaspoon of ginger, half teaspoon of nutmeg, and a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. So I'm gonna do a half of a half. And then we need our 1 1/4 cups of flour.
It was the most amazing thing I've ever heard today. She sloughed you off. Give me that look again.
You want more efficiency tips? I'm full of them.
Stick around.
Hey, I'm the old lady, and I'm full of them too.
Yeah, we're full.
You're full of it.
You hands out, so you kept moving me. What about, how efficient is that?
Jerry.
Okay, 1 cup of flour and 1/4. And I'm gonna go a little flour heavy. I love these measuring cups because you look inside there and you just measure up to those lines. Now we're gonna start the party. You want it to just get crumbly like that. So it starts to come together.
Do it again.
And then we're getting stuff all over this.
There you are.
We're gonna reserve 1/2 cup of the crust. So we have our reserved crust, and then we're gonna put the extra 2 tablespoons or 4 half tablespoons. Can I get a lid?
And shake.
And shake.
All right, Shira decided to skip a step and taste and dump. You take this stuff and you dump it in the bottom.
Delicious, of course. Can you give me a fork?
All right, what are you doing now?
I'm trying to get it to press together on the bottom. I'm not going to be able to use this.
For the majority of you out there who are watching our channel, I have a little family heritage fact for you. Mimi is 100% German. Christy is 110% German.
I am not. My dad is a mutt.
No, your dad is half German.
I understand.
So that makes you 75% German.
Yep.
What other half is
I
it?
am.
So if you're 75% German, that means that these kids are at least
No.
30, 40.
I would say they're good, probably at least 50.
There's a little
you
bit.
have-
There's a little bit of German in there.
And you?
Not a lot. I'll tell you what's in me. The fighting Irish.
Yeah.
Perhaps Scott. No,
You don't get to pick
Barbados.
what you want to be because you think it's cool.
Dad?
United Airlines.
We're going to use
Pie crust is in. Does not have to be pretty. It literally is just going to be a flat bottom.
It's gonna go in the belly anyway.
Well, but it's going to get covered up. You're not going to see it. We need 3/4 of a cup of sugar.
Oh, sorry. This
But
third is...
am I allowed to try one?
1/3 cup sour cream.
Can I mix it up?
Yes, get it, Zayden.
Okay. Did we find the trash can?
Yeah.
Tablespoon of flour. Sticking with our half tablespoon. Will you jar that, please? 2 teaspoons of vanilla. That was messy.
Sorry.
And then we're gonna do egg yolks. 3 egg yolks. 3. All right, we're gonna just mix this up. It's gonna feel a little thick at first, but as you stir, it gets runny. You stir while I do the apples. All right, I'm going to wash my apples.
I'm still hungry.
Now, are we baking this?
Oh.
Dad, did you see what I was talking
Peel
about?
the apples. No,
So-
because they.
You can technically use
Mom,
any apple, but Granny Smith is the best.
See that?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's starting to clear up a little bit. Stop. I'm down south though. Holy mackerel! You can't even see Pikes. Pikes Peak's over there.
This is the most important part about the apple kuchen. You have to slice very thin.
Mom,
So
I'm
look.
done stirring it.
I cut the apple in half,
Mom, I'm done.
and then I'll go in quarter, and then I will remove
Can I start?
the core.
Can I get a roll? Yes, they're around the desk.
Okay, so I like to keep them like in this
Pile.
little pile as I slice them, because then what I'll do is come around.
Say something.
Apple Kuchen. Now that I've arranged the apples, I'm going to pour in the filling, and then we'll throw it in the oven. And you just kind of.
Can I have the bowl when you are done with it?
Yes.
Wait, I'd like to try some out of the bowl.
Look at your shirt.
I'm gonna go on the far right. It's gonna cook for 70 minutes, 70 at 350, and then we're gonna pull it out and let it sit before we enjoy it. And now,
This bad boy. Oh yes. The bubbly.
Oh yes. Say yo.
Oh yes.
Say yo. I've got my melted butter in here, ready to be mixed. And I'm gonna put my garlic in. Mix this up just a little bit. Make sure my butter is still good and pliable.
How much Parmesan?
Approximately half a cup. Half a cup of Parmesan. Still gonna keep that out because I'm gonna top the bread with that after I spread the garlic butter spread on top. Gonna add 1 tablespoon of my Italian seasoning mix. Oh, it smells so good. And another tablespoon of salt.
Mix well.
Mix this up. Remember that bread we made yesterday?
What?
Over get your soot.
Alright.
Now I'm gonna spread my garlic butter spread across the tops of this bread.
Let's try that again with Mike. Come on.
Alright, we're gonna do the salad. We're gonna give it a toss with the dressing. Probably not all of that. Alright, we're gonna give that a toss.
Here, go just up just a little bit so you can.
Okay, everybody up. Look at your food.
Zayden!
Thanks.
Done.
There she is.
still alive.
Dinner.
This looks and smells amazing. This is one of my favorite meals right now, and I'm so excited to eat it. So, we normally watch the Waltons on Wednesday, and I was thinking that we were going to eat dinner and then come in here and watch it without food, but we're a little late.
We're a lot of late.
And so, we are going to eat in our bedroom and watch the Waltons. And at some point, take a break to go
Get some
cut
apple
into that apple Kuchen. Yes.
Cool.
I'm excited about that.
Let's eat. Got it.
Alright, we're gonna make short work of this.
Alright, here it is. Cooled down apple Kuchen.
Thanks, babe.
I said babe.
Well,
So,
Jake, you back.
you cut around the outside before you open it up. Otherwise, yes, it will brick, pour, or pull apart the pie, the Kuchen. Kuchen time!
Whoa.
Yep. Just, oh, nope. Stop. There.
Wow.
That's it. And then,
Do we have paper plates?
Yeah, we can see off of this.
Yeah, Mom.
Italian.
No,
Nope,
Listen, you eat that and that's it. That's
Whoa.
it.
I'm eating.
Thank you, Mom, for making apple Kuchen.
It's your turn. Oh, I love these.
The Kuchen did not last long.
Really good. Don't forget to check out the recipe pack for November. Links in the description below. You're gonna figure out how to cook the deliciousness. It's amazing. For now, while I'm finishing eating my food, you can take a look at the other videos of what we eat. Whoa. They look like peaches.
I'm not gonna touch anything except for the floor.
Potatoes had a little bit of siphoning, and that might be what's on it.